All right, let's dive into an idea that kind of turns a classic piece of advice on its head. That whole be well-rounded thing we've all been told? Well, today we're going to talk about why that might actually be a trap, and we'll look at a much more powerful idea called the spike strategy.
Think about it. From the time we're kids, we're pushed to be decent at a lot of different things. But here's the catch. When you try to be good at everything, you risk becoming, well, not really great at anything. You end up smoothing out all your interesting, quirky edges, and you just don't stand out.
So I have to ask you straight up, is this push to be well-rounded actually making you less memorable? Is it making your conversations less interesting? Is it, holding you back? Let's look at this side by side. Over here, you've got your well-rounded person. They're a generalist. They fit in pretty much anywhere, but because of that, they can be kind of forgettable. But then over here, you have the spiky person. This is a specialist. They stand out. They have that one defining thing that makes them impossible to forget. It's really the difference between a jack of all trades and a true master of one. This idea of blending in brings us to a really interesting and maybe slightly uncomfortable metaphor from the gaming world. If you're blending into the background of every social situation, what does that make you? Are you an NPC? So, for anyone who's not a gamer, an NPC is a non-player character. They're the people in the background of a video game. They exist to make the world feel full, but they don't have their own unique story or personality. Socially speaking, an NPC is someone who, well, they lack that one thing that really sets them apart. And that's the real cost, right? It means your first impression doesn't really land. Your conversations stick to generic small talk. You don't have that thing people remember you for, where they say, oh, you're the person who's amazing at X. Instead, you just kind of fade into the crowd. Okay, so if being an NPC is the problem, what's the fix? How do you break out of that? Well, this is where the core idea of our explainer comes in. The antidote is something called the spike strategy. The spike strategy is all about a conscious choice. It's not about what you're naturally good at, it's about what you decide to become amazing at. This idea actually started as a hack for college admissions, because schools realized that applicants who were truly exceptional at one niche thing were way more interesting than applicants who were just kind of good at everything. The goal is to get into the top 1% in one very specific area. And it really breaks down into three pretty simple steps. First, you just pick a niche interest. And I mean anything. It could be becoming an expert cleaner or a master builder in Minecraft. It does not have to be some highbrow, impressive sounding thing. Second, you commit to really mastering it. And third, you just own it. You let that become part of who you are. Now, this is where the real magic happens. Because developing a spike isn't just about learning a new skill. It's about what that skill does for you on a whole other level, the meta benefits. It's literally about engineering social magnetism. It all comes down to this single powerful idea. Once you have a spike, you are no longer an NPC. Suddenly you have a story, you have a unique point of view. You stop being a background character in other people's lives, and you become someone with your own distinct, fascinating role. So check out how this actually plays out. Your spike does two incredible things for you socially. First, it's an instant conversation starter that isn't boring small talk. People are genuinely curious. But second, and this is the big one, it acts as a social filter. If your spike is being a master of cleaning, you're naturally going to connect with other people who value order and detail. If you're a Minecraft expert, you'll find other creative, nerdy people to vibe with. Your spike automatically draws your kind of people in, and just as important, it filters out the people you wouldn't click with anyway. So, we've talked about the trap of being well-rounded, the danger of becoming a social NPC, and the awesome power of the spike strategy. Now, there's just one thing left to do, and that's to turn this from an interesting idea into something you can actually use. And that leaves us with one final, really important question. Forget being good at everything. What is the one specific, niche, fascinating thing that you are going to become truly exceptional at? What will your spike be?